And the special one is the gene. Some are superpowers. The sense of taste is several times that of ordinary people. And some are slowly disappearing. There are only 3,000 people left in the world. And the first special gene, only 20 people in the world can own it. Others even shy away from them. So why is that? This issue's curious compass. Let's go see these special features together with everyone. Rare genes for special humans. Click to subscribe. Let's go. Tenth place, red hair. In life, we can often see hair of various colors. In fact, there are only 5 natural hair colors in total. The most common is black. That's about 80% of the population. And then brown. Then gold, silver, and red. But walking on the road, I can't see a few people who are born with red hair at all. Because red is the rarest of natural hair colors. See color. Of the billions of people on Earth, the total number of redheads is a measly 3,000. Red hair is actually a melanin receptor, one of the manifestations of genetic mutation. Redheads usually have different, often fair complexion and light pupils. The genetic mutation, it also gives them a very high tolerance for pain. Therefore, Europe's prejudice against redheads runs deep. In the past, they were even labeled as witches. 100 years later, redheads may even disappear from the earth. Because I want to give birth to a redhead, there has to be a hard premise. Both parents must be redheads. This allows future generations to have red. The chance of sending it will be less and less. And the weirdest thing is, because redheads are more susceptible to skin diseases, the sperm bank rejected the defective gene. So the redhead, maybe soon, become the desperate situation that our generation can see. Now, this is a pity. 9th place, open your eyes and sleep. Everyone's sleeping position is different, but there are some different sleeping positions. Will refresh people's cognition, just like some people sleep with their eyes open. Many people believe that sleeping with their eyes open, it's because of big eyes or talent. Is that really the case? In fact, there are only 2 cases. The first is a normal physiological phenomenon. Maybe sleep did not reach a state of deep sleep. The eyes are not fully closed. There's a slit in the eye when you sleep. But there is another way of saying it. Open your eyes and sleep seems to be olive skin and grumpy. Sleep habits unique to humans. There may be some connection with genetics. Some parents have this habit. The child will also. You're likely to get it. There are pathological reasons. The cause of the eyelids themselves, or eyelid to eyeball, incomplete closure between the orbits. This situation requires attention, because the eyelids are not fully closed for a long time. Eyeballs exposed. It causes the surface fluid to evaporate. Protection of conjunctiva and cornea from loss of tear film, plus external stimuli, easily causes eye diseases. However, whether it is pathology or physiology, open your eyes and sleep. There won't be any major problems in the short term. But suppose you have the following characteristics. But be careful, because it is likely that your body, something went wrong. 8th place, will laugh if you tickle yourself. When we were kids, we used to take advantage of people not being noticed. Tickle someone, looking at the painful and happy expressions of others. I refused to let go for a long time. But here's the weird thing. No matter how hard you try to scratch yourself, it just doesn't itch. The reason why people feel itchy, it's because there's an itch in human skin. Sensory receptors. It's commonly known as a sheep. Lamb is very sensitive to external stimuli. Then tickle yourself and tickle others. What's the difference? When you scratch yourself, the cerebellum sends a signal when it is itself. Tell the rest of the brain, do not respond to this stimulus. But when someone tickles, the cerebellum doesn't send out any warning signs. In the face of sudden excitement, I think it's very itchy. But not everyone can't do it. There is a kind of person. You can scratch yourself and laugh. People with schizophrenia can. Due to the motor system in the brain and the region of consciousness formation. Can't be like normal people, predicting the consequences of actions and react in advance. They feel like they're scratching themselves. It's like being tickled. They respond to their own actions. And that's one of the hallmarks of schizophrenia. The seventh person holds the position of the edible thumb with both hands. Put your hands out. Cross each other. Then watch how your two thumbs swing. Put. It is said that one can tell a person's character from their posture. According to statistics, 50% of the world's population is to put the right thumb on the left thumb. 49% said the opposite. The last 1% is the rarest. It's two thumbs juxtaposed. Body language experts believe that the way you cross your hands can reveal what kind of person you are, and the reason for reaching this conclusion. Because studies have shown that which of the left and right parts of the brain is more active. The corresponding finger is more flexible, stronger. But the left and right of the brain and the fingers do not correspond. It's the other way around. The person with the left thumb above the right hemisphere is more developed, rational thinking more. It's usually accompanied by a left-handed gene and strong learning ability. However, the personality is relatively short-tempered. Someone with a higher IQ than EQ. And the person with the top right thumb, the left hemisphere, is more developed, sensual more, relatively soft personality and good temper. But memory is mediocre. Learning ability is slightly weaker. Is a person with higher emotional intelligence than IQ. As for the person with two thumbs side by side, the development of the two sides is relatively balanced. It may be a person with IQ and EQ tool online. Which kind are you? You might as well test your friends. See if the result is accurate. The sixth place punches counterclockwise. In thick hair. In fact, there are more or less hair curls hidden. And upon closer inspection, you will find everyone's hair curls are actually different. Someone grows on the left, someone grows on the right. Someone sends a rotary clockwise, turned counterclockwise. About this issue, some people think it has to do with the autobiography of the Earth. When the baby is in the mother's womb, head down, feet up, because gravity works with rotation. The child's hair will form a certain oblique trajectory. However, the study found that the direction of rotation of the spin is more clockwise. That's about 91.6%. But there are no significant racial or geographical differences. If it is related to the rotation of the Earth, so people in the northern and southern hemispheres go in reverse, there should be a difference. But in fact, there was no significant difference. And by comparison, clockwise or counterclockwise, in fact, it has something to do with the arrangement of the hair follicles. To put it bluntly, this is the result of a natural random selection. It's already decided in the fetus. Except for the different direction of spin, there is also a difference in the number of spins. Most of them are single, 89% to 96%. Less than 10% of 2. 3 only account for 0.6%. You might as well take a look now. Which kind are you? Number 5. Genes that disappear with evolution. The existence of every organ in the body is inevitable. But if you find an organ, others have it, but I don't. Do you panic? Worried about physical problems? Like the long bowel muscle. It belongs to a seemingly useless piece of muscle. Long bowel muscle belongs to the purification residue. Chong chong chicken is a muscle in the hand. It's on the medial humerus, carved between the long aponeurosis under the skin of the palm. The long-term function is mainly to tighten the long-term film. Fixed wrist position. Prevent blood vessels and nerves on the palm side. They're oppressed by using too much force. When you make a fist, or when the wrist is bent tragically, it can be clearly seen. But if his presence cannot be detected, don't panic. For early humans, the long term is indeed very important. You can't climb without him. Fishing can't even migrate. Life is a lot more inconvenient. But modern fingers are sensitive enough. It doesn't require long-term grip. Naturally, I don't need this tendon very much. In other words, Chong Chong muscle is no longer important to humans. The only function is surgeon. It's sometimes used as material for restorative surgeries. Under normal circumstances, loss of long bowel muscles does not affect the integrity of hand function. So the long intestinal muscle that was gradually forgotten quietly withdrew from our bodies. 4th place is super scared. If you think broccoli is difficult to follow, strange taste in the throat, or the grapefruit can't bear to look directly, stop blaming yourself for being a picky eater. Because you are very likely is a hidden superpower. It's called the super taste ability. Can make the taste. The sensitivity is several times higher than that of ordinary people. That is to say, the ups and downs that ordinary people feel. Salty and fresh in the eyes of super tasters have become much thicker. It is estimated that these superpowers, that's about 25% of the population. Generally speaking, this ability can better seek advantages and avoid disadvantages. Avoid possible toxic substances. Better intake of energy substances. And there is evidence that super tasters are better than ordinary people. More competent wine tasters, chef, etc. But just as every superhuman has troubles, super taste actually has a negative skill. It's just that all the flavors are too strong and can't accept. So they have two sides. People without this superpower, you don't have to envy them too much. But because this superpower is relatively hidden, it's not easy to discover. However, interested friends can test it. Find a food and color. Color your tongue. You take a 4-kilometer piece of paper. Attach to the tongue. Count the number of bumps on it. And these little bumps are the famous taste buds. So if the number exceeds 30, then you are super delicious. The possibility of enlightened beings is great. The 3rd place is born without a coin. NBA friend. You must remember Villanueva as a player. Of course, it's not just because of his game skills. More importantly, his amazing appearance. He has no eyebrows. He also won the title of Eyeless Hero. It is understood that the reason why he is so natural, it's because of a rare disease. Systemic hair removal. It is understood that This is a serious disease of hair loss all over the body, divided into congenital and acquired. Congenital in light of heredity. It is often characterized by normal hair at birth, but then hair removal started. Acquired hair removal, mostly due to other diseases, such as endocrine hair removal and so on. And that's why you have hair removal. It all boils down to this. It's a disorder of the body's immune system. Start the wrong attack on the hair follicle. Leads to hair from the face to the body. All fall off. Hair, eyebrows, eyelash, beard. Hair and armpit hair are not immune. And part age. Gender has no effective medicine to intervene. Fortunately, except for the hair loss, the patient has no other symptoms. Generally, the body is relatively healthy. Health doesn't affect lifespan either, but there are also benefits to being born without eyebrows. You can take the eyebrow pencil and shape the eyebrow shape arbitrarily. Today is willow-thin eyebrows. Tomorrow is a sword eyebrow. You can experience a different version of yourself every day. The gap in the second front teeth. If you are a person who observes carefully, will find some people have a distinct feature in their teeth. That's a gap in the front tooth. Some are big, some are small. The largest gap is the width of a front tooth. According to statistics, about 20% of people have front teeth. There's this remarkable gap. Actually, human teeth didn't start out neat. Uneven teeth can lead to a larger cutting surface. But as human food becomes softer, we don't need these big gaps to cut anymore. Food aesthetics began to become more orderly. Cause seems, gap people get frustrated when it comes to choosing a mate. So there are fewer and fewer dominant genes. But look at this in Asia. It's not very beautiful. In some cultures, it is regarded as a symbol of beauty. Countries like Ghana and Nigeria, you see the gap between your teeth as a sign of beauty. They believe that the larger the gap between a person's front teeth, the more attractive the person is. Under the influence of their culture, there are even people who do it artificially. Intentionally increase the distance between the teeth. A gap in the incisors. It's a big problem for us. But here's this particular gene. But it makes his carrier miserable. The first person without fingerprints. In some film and television dramas and detective novels, we often see criminals avoid detection by detectives. We'll deliberately wipe off their fingerprints. It will even use special channels to directly wipe fingerprints. Dakian world. Every wonder what criminals want. Someone actually came out. It was born. This rare disease without fingerprints, medically known as dermatosis. But don't think that no fingerprints are a good thing. He will make a huge impact on life. Underdeveloped sweat glands in the palm of your hand. When the hand temperature rises, the fingerprints of ordinary people will automatically excrete sweat. Auxiliary cooling, but no fingerprints. It does not have this heat dissipation function, except for not being able to sweat. Missing fingerprint. In the beginning, in fact, it does not affect other functions of the body. Fingers have normal sensory function. The only drawback is probably the lack of fingerprints. Makes it a little difficult to grasp. Dealing cards or flipping books is more laborious. But soon after, fingerprint. Other missing effects will gradually become apparent. The patient will face the palm, the danger of thickening the soles of the feet, and you have to put up with your teeth. The pain of abnormal hair and skin development. In severe cases, it may also cause thinning hair, dry skin, thinning and brittle teeth. And the reason for this condition? It's a genetic mutation. There's a genetic risk. Fortunately, this is too rare. There are only about 20 people in the world, so it's still a long way off for us. After watching the above video, are you amazed by the wonders of the world? Then you also know what are the special talents of special groups of people. Welcome to the comment area to leave a message for interaction. If you like this video, you can subscribe to Hidden Curiosity Compass. The next issue will also bring you more exciting